So welcome everyone to the Edge Live, a monthly webinar organized by Bizedgeapp. And I'm your host today, Abiola Awujobi. And I have with us a people expert, and she'll be talking on the topic, humanizing candidate touch points to improve recruitment. So before I go ahead to introduce her properly, first, I want to talk a bit about the Edge Live. So this is brought to you by Torilo Nigeria. We are developers of the app, BizEdge, an all-in-one business management suite. A suite of apps that you can use to run your business. Either it's a small business, a medium one, or even a large-scale business. We'll be having a bit of demo on the app after our presentation today. So some housekeeping rules. Our speaker will be speaking for about 30 minutes, and after that, we have a brief demo organized by our customer success. And then we go back for questions and answers, and then we wrap it up. So that's going to be the structure of today's discussion. So without further ado, I'll be introducing our speaker for today, person of Chibuzo Ihentuge-Eric. I believe I pronounced the other name correctly. And so please go ahead to introduce yourself, Chibuzo, to us, and then you can dive right into your presentation.
Okay, hi everyone, good afternoon. Reporting live from Nigeria, Lagos. Okay, my name is Chibuzo Ihentuge-Eric. So you tried and you didn't murder the name.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, I'm very glad to be here and to talk about a very important conversation. So I am head of people and culture for Bankly. Bankly is a fintech company. We specialize in agency banking. We have a microfinance bank called Bloom. Yeah, so we try to digitize cash and working heavily on financial inclusion for the underbanked and the unbanked. Yes, so my activities in human resource just spans across recruitment, culture, performance management, right? So that's about me. So we'll dive into the discussion. So I know that we probably have a mixed crowd here. We have people who are probably currently unemployed, people who are employed and looking to transition. We also have HR professionals. We have people that are also business owners, entrepreneurs. So we have, all right, okay. So we have, my presentation will try as possible to cover everyone that is represented in this session. Okay, so humanizing candidate touch points. Am I blocking? Okay, I think I would. Is my photo grid blocking my screen? I'm just confirming.
No, your screen it's very visible. You can see your slide.
Okay, right. Okay, so I'm talking about humanizing touch points to improve recruitment. And so I have a picture here that connects the heart and the brain. Basically, there are certain things that are touch points for candidates in the recruitment process. We're going to go into what recruitment is not and then talk about this touch points. But however, we know that we're in the age of technology where a lot of things are introduced into the recruitment process. We have AI recruitments, we have automated systems. All these things try to make recruitment very efficient, but at the same time, we are in the human resource industry. We try as much as possible to ensure that there's human in the process. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're a business owner, you're a recruiter, HR professional, job seeker, active, passive job seeker, you're currently employed, this session, at the end of it, I believe that we'll be educated on how we would play our part in every recruitment process. Okay, so I'll write into it. Can you see my next slide?
Yes, please, we can.
Okay, so we have about 12 people on this session. So I just want you to look at this picture for like 30 seconds. Just go ahead and look at it. It's very colorful. There are circles, there are shapes, there are a lot of things that are jumping at you whilst you're looking at this. So these are emotions. You can sense fear, admiration, trust, acceptance, submission, or disapproval, remorse, boredom, content, optimism, serenity, joy, ecstasy. So the reason why I feel like I wish I could just keep this on the screen throughout my session. I know I have 30 minutes, about 25 minutes to go. But whilst you look at this, these are some of the emotions that jump at you when you are going through a recruitment process. These are some of the emotions that jump at you when you are either, thinking about a new job or transiting, or, you're thinking about even hiring somebody for your company. A lot of these emotions jump at you. And the very funny thing is that sometimes you don't even know about these things till you are now either in the job or the recruitment process wasn't even successful. Why that is the case is because a lot of factors play in the recruitment process. I'm going to explain what recruitment is. A lot of us have heard about recruitment, a lot of us have seen it, a lot of us have been even part of it, but we probably don't know what it is. But these whole emotions, I just want you to take cognizance of them whilst we take this session. These are some of the emotions that you felt. Either, okay, so I'll take one, for example, joy. You might see a job post and you're very happy. Like you're like, if I enter this job like this, I've fulfilled my life purpose. For a recruiter or a human resource person, when I am doing this job, there could also be joy for me. Like I'm excited to have somebody on board coming to my team. So let's also take a negative emotion. Let's take grief for an instance. Let me say I had somebody that was very good in this role, but probably had to relocate, or we lost the person to another company. Whilst I'm, probably advertising for the job, I'm not happy. Like, if only this person has stayed now, I wouldn't have been, advertising for this job. On the reverse, for the candidate or whoever is going into that role, there's also grief for the person. Probably the person lost his or her job, and you're looking at the job post, it's with anger. It's with grief that you're applying for this job. So these are some of the emotions that go on while we're applying and while we're even advertising for a role. So we'll come back to this slide. I'll go to the next. So pillars of this conversation, some of the things that I'll be hinging my conversation on are communication, process friendliness, and language. These are some of the things that I have integrated into this session so that we can understand humanizing touch points in recruitment. Okay, so what recruitment is not? I decided to go the reverse because a lot of people have heard about recruitment and a lot of people see it, but they don't understand what it is. So recruitment is not selection. Selection is the process whereby, you've applied for a job, you've spoken to your friend that, please now help me and speak to your guy about this job. And finally, they now said, okay, we have selected you for this job. That is what selection is. That's just a piece of what recruitment is. What recruitment is not, again, is interview. So people go for interview, you've been scheduled for an interview, and then you're sitting down before the executive of the company or the HR manager or anybody that's interviewing you. And there's a question about, what you're going to do if you're on the job, test and all that. That is not what recruitment is. Now, what is recruitment? Recruitment is a process. So recruitment starts from the point where a company decides to hire somebody. So, for example, I work with Bankly or probably BizEdge, who is organizing this webinar, decides that, we want somebody to come on board that will handle our marketing department. Now, the point at which somebody thinks about hiring somebody, recruitment process has started. So some people now think, no, we have not started. You come into a company as the HR manager, is there any recruitment process going on? And they say no. And I'm like, yesterday I heard that tech department made a requisition for a backend developer. Immediately that requisition has been made, recruitment process has started. Now, for us who are HR professionals and for business owners, so you're probably here, you're an entrepreneur, you are a business owner, you're a CEO, and you handle any form of business. Maybe you even have, let me say, a store, and you said, oh, I want to hire a sales girl. The moment you decide that you're going to start that process, recruitment has started. So after you've made a requisition, you've thought about the role, and all the processes that begins from that point where there's a chance to hire to when you've selected and employed somebody, that the person starts, resumes, and you've onboarded the person, the recruitment process is complete. So recruitment is not just one thing, recruitment is a process from the point where you decide to hire somebody to the point where this person has started a job. That is recruitment. So in case you've been confused as to what recruitment is, that is what it is. Now, how are we trying to humanize touch points? So this is very important. I'm going to go to my next slide, which is the very most important. So candidate journey. This is what ideally happens when we are going through a recruitment. So we say that we want to hire somebody. BizEdge has decided that they want to hire a marketing manager. So please, I need everybody's attention because this is like the crux of this discussion. Decided to hire. So a company somewhere, you're a job seeker, you're trying to move career, you're trying to shift from where you are into tech, you're trying to shift into sales, whatever it is. So a company somewhere right now has decided that they want a sales manager. Recruitment has started. Now for human resource professionals, we're giving you, I am a human resource professional, I'm giving us insight into what really happens. So please, CEOs take notes, job seekers take notes, enterprise take notes. The moment that decision is made, remember the first slide I showed you, there is an emotion that is activated. Maybe I am the manager and I've recruited this role 15 times and we've not filled it. Every somebody, it failed. Now, what happens is that there's an emotion that's already enacted in my inside. I'm like, it could be tiredness. I'm just tired of working on this role. So that feeling affects the process. So if you're here and you're an HR person or you're a recruitment team, or the decision that you make, how you start the recruitment point affects the recruitment process, even affects how you do your interview and how you receive people. So that is also a trick and a pre-information for people who will go into interviews. So when you go in for interviews and you hear people say certain things, don't take it personal. It's not about you. It's a journey that already started before you even came into the picture. So the next thing that happens is awareness. Now, humanizing touch points. So all these things on my screen are touch points in recruitment. So from the awareness to consideration to interest, application, selection, hiring, and but these are touch points. Now, the central aim of this session is how can we humanize each process so that people don't drop off. There's what is called the Great Resignation, which is ongoing now. People are quitting their jobs because of work-life balance. 2020 came, COVID came, people were introduced to remote working, and now a lot of people are considering that option. I'm like, if I did it in 2020, why do I need to go into this? So now the options, and because of the age that we're living in, the digital age, unlike then where job posts were on newspapers and very limited. If you don't have newspaper, you might not see the job post. Now everywhere you can see the opportunity I have is the opportunity 1 million people have. So is one job and a lot of people are competing for it. So that's the first step in advertising, in creating awareness for a job, and in trying to humanize this process. Understand that a lot of people already have issues. People are already asking themselves questions. I probably know a KPMG advertised a job. People are already feeling downcast. Like, how am I even sure I'm going to get this job? How am I? So the way we create the awareness have to incorporate hope in it, right? So you're saying to people, let me give an example. So you're posting a job and you see something like, hi, we have a job opening for a marketing manager. We're looking for you. We hope that you come on board. We are expectant. We want you to be on our team. We love you. And you know, those things, hope. In the process, people are happy. Even if they don't get that job, there's a sense of hope for them to say, oh, this company is a good company. But some people, we're hiring. Please, if you don't have this qualification, don't apply. We don't have time to, you know, it's already a sense of push for people that are already telling themselves there are good jobs around here and all that. So that process in the communication, remember the pillars that I talked about. One is communication. In the communication of your job post, in creating of awareness, you have to incorporate hope. People need to know that when I come into this company, when I come into this culture, I can stay. So if your intents and fears in your communication, you're already losing candidates. Some people are like, I beg me, I cannot even enter this company, they're already toxic, right? So for you to brand the company and to ensure that you have candidates passing through your pipeline for this job, because talent, to be honest, good talent is very scarce. That's why you see companies, one road, they've been hiring for 4 months, 5 months, 10 months, because people come in and then they don't prove themselves on the. So you could be the reason why people are dropping off from companies. You're probably advertising and people are not responding. Maybe check the language in your awareness. So the other touch point is consideration. So because of the awareness and the way the communication, now people go through the process of consideration. Now you a job post LinkedIn. An average person looks at this post to know, how does it benefit me? Why should I apply for this job? Oh, I'm a good candidate. I know that I can do this job, but why should I consider this company? So in your recruitment process, remember advertisement, job posts and job ads are part of the recruitment process. So your language, remember I said communication, friendliness, and I said communication, friendliness, and language. So now people are sitting down, hundreds of people, thousands of people probably, or hundreds of people, tens of people are looking at that job post and they are going through a process of consideration. Remember the first slide with the emotions that are going through. Some people are like, I've seen this type of job before, me, I'm not going to apply. It's in all these companies. So a lot of consideration are going on. So if you want to attract and retain people in your recruitment pipeline, you have to humanize the process via language. As people are considering, they're like, okay, this way, the way these people are talking, they will be a good company. So that way you will have a lot of people in your pipeline. The third thing is interest. So I say recruitment is sales. I keep telling everybody that you are a CEO, you are a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, you are a job seeker, you are you are a passive job seeker. That means you are in a job, but you're looking for another job. Recruitment is a sales process. So as I'm advertising jobs, I just see people say, I'm looking for a hiring manager, please apply. There's no interest. Remember, I've passed from awareness consideration. Now, what is interest? So in the process, in humanizing it, people are very emotional. People are drawn to something that will give them interest. People are, in quotes, a lot of people desire, how will it benefit me? How will I gain from this thing? So you have to show people, even when you're doing one-on-one. So you see, or somebody says, my sister is very good, but that one, she wants 1 million naira for that job. But you know, you can't afford it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't afford it. So you humanize it. What can be of interest to this person beyond money, right? It could be that the company she wants to go to wants them to come to work 5 times a week and pays her 1 million. But I'm saying, oh, I'm offering you 2 times in the office and I'm paying you 700. By selling interest, humanizing the process, you are more likely to retain the staff. Then the next is the application. Please, the application process tiring. I've seen, a lot of people can concur to this. You try to apply for a job, or you're talking about a particular job, and the process is very rigorous. You try, after first page, they will be and say, right, I just want to submit my CV and move from here. Like, you guys don't make this process very tiring for me. So you have to consider that people have things. I'm looking for a job. and then your application process is like, it will take 2 days. Is a very tiring. So you have to consider people and humanize the process. Then in selection. So now this is what happens in selection, that 500 people have not applied to my job post, right? And last, I will only hire one person. So what do I do? In my selection process, how do we humanize selection process? Let people know that they are not selected. A lot of people apply for jobs and they are having hope that they will call them for an interview. And 6 weeks, 9 months, nobody has called them from that company and they are still hoping. Like I said before, when I was beginning, hope, you have to infuse hope in your process as a CEO, as an entrepreneur and all that. Even you that's a job seeker, look out for these things. So selection process, you can tell people. So I've seen posts like, due to a lot of application in this season, we might not get back to you after 3 weeks, right? So whoever applied for that job is already timing that in 3 weeks, if I don't receive any feedback, I know that I'm not selected. So that means you don't keep people hanging and keep lingering their hope. So that's a way that we can humanize selection process. Then what happens in hiring? In hiring, we have the interview. This is where offer letters are given. So people come for interview. I've sat down in interviews where it looks like the people that interview want to frustrate the people. But now there are 2 sides to it. I want to say to anybody that's a job seeker here, anybody that is, remember, passive or an active job seeker, you're currently in a job but you're looking to move. When you go for an interview, right, first you have to prepare yourself. We cannot even overemphasize that. Research on the company, know very key things that are very, necessary in the field that you're going. Know the recent trends, everybody is going tech now. So know how whatever you're doing, tech can be infused into it. So I also want to say to everyone on this call, whatever skill and talent that you have, you are needed. So people come for interviews and you see them shrink back in fear. I'm like, Auntie Olga, I need you to come on board so that I can close this role. So that's the tip I'm giving everybody on this call. So sometimes it looks like the one sitting on the other side of the table that they want to have the power. Trust is not true. You have as much power as the person recruiting you. I have a role that I'm currently working on, and I've been looking for candidates. It's like, God, please send me a candidate to fill this role. So when people come for interview and you're already shrinking back, like you don't even know that I need you. I need you to close this so that I can cross out my KPI. So in the hiring process, we have to humanize it. When you see that people come in for interviews and they're very tense, give them hope, allow them to settle down. And then on the other side, if you come for an interview and you notice that you're tense, ask for 2, 3 minutes, 1 minute, please. I think I'm a little bit tense and I would appreciate if I'm given a minute to settle down. Trust me, they will give it to you. A lot of people go into interview thinking that the company is doing them a favor. Is a joint agreement. You are doing them a favor as much as the company is doing you a favor. So walk into that room with confidence. So whoever is on the table interviewing, the process to humanize this recruitment touch point is that you should let people feel comfortable in the recruitment process. And then a lot of people here will say some things like, but me, I don't recruit anybody now. I've never recruited before. I'm not a HR. When you see a job post or your friend is recruiting or your friend has an opening and you're talking to your church member, you're saying, you better go and do well. If not, they will not take you. You're already dehumanizing the touch point, right? You feel you're not the one having an interview, you're not the one interviewing that person, but you're not humanizing the process. You're already instigating fear. You're already telling the person, these people, they are very tough. If you want, go there and fold my hand. You're already creating fear for this person. Remember the first slide I showed us, the emotions that can drop out, those touch points. So give hope to people that you're talking to about a job. Oh, I have this friend, she's very strict, but once you impress her, she will take you. Once you know details about the job, she will take you. You're being truthful. You're telling this person that, oh, this might be a tough process, but you're giving solution. You're humanizing the process. You're giving the person solution. Don't just still feel and leave the person hanging, and then she already feels like, I cannot get this job already. The way you're even talking about, she already hates me, and this person hasn't even gone through the process at all, right? So whether you're a job seeker, whether you're a CEO, whether you're HR, when you're sending job posts, you see something posted somewhere and you want to post it, and always try to infuse, say, oh, don't just give information. You see a post. This, I've seen this. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. I have about 5 minutes. So you see a job post. I've seen this plenty times. And that job post was probably posted on LinkedIn. And now I'm talking to people that feel they are not HR people, because everybody say, we are not HR. This one is not for us. So when you see HR programs, it's a cheat. Attend them, because HR people are talking about how to get people into the company. When you see them, whether you're HR or not, go and attend and listen. You will be more informed than people that don't know what HR is expecting. So you see a post on LinkedIn and they say that this job is ending tomorrow. Some people go and copy that information and leave out that the job post is ending tomorrow. Probably you post it on your status and status disappears after 24 hours. Maybe that job post was yesterday and I saw it early this morning and it's supposed to close by 12 midnight. You screenshot it and put it on your WhatsApp status, knowing that tomorrow is going to expire. By tomorrow, that job is, and you're making people waste their time applying for a job that is already closed. To humanize the process, please tell the people, oh, this job is closing tomorrow, apply today. Don't just carry a job post and dump it on people, and people are wasting their time having hope that, oh, if I apply for this job, I might get it. So it's a journey, it's a touch point across all boards, whether you are the one recruiting, whether you're the hiring manager, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a job seeker. So the next touch point is onboarding. So once you've hired somebody, once the person has signed an offer and started, I've seen people start the next day they quit. I've seen people start a job, 1 week they quit. Now, and you're like, auntie, this job that you have been praying for, you got it. Because when they got into the company, they felt like they were floating. They got into the company and said, oh, welcome, them bag. Oh. Say, welcome to our office. They even gave them balloons. But 2 days into the job, nobody is helping you navigate. You're already looking like a lost fish. 1 week, they're not coming to your desk and say, oh, how are you? 1 week later, wow. So as human resource professionals, for some people that are here, as job seekers, these are some of the things that we need to look out for. Humanize these are touch points. In earnest, these things can also be expanded, but from awareness to consideration to interest application to onboarding, we have to infuse hope. I'll go back to my first slide. I'll go back to this. So these are emotions that a lot of people feel when they see a job post, when they are going through the recruitment process. And these are some of the reasons why people drop off. So you are a hiring manager and you've been looking at the role for so long. You're a CEO. You have been looking for a PA since. You have been looking for PA since and you've not gotten it. I think it's time for us to start looking at humanizing the process. It could be your tone. It could be any of these things. These are the pillars of this conversation. It could be your communication, the way you're, people already see you as strict and say, I will not go apply for madam that will already kill me. You're already saying, oh, our process is very strict. If you don't, this one is saying, if my mother is sick, my mother will never allow me to go. So I rather pull out. So you're still on the job process, recruitment process for so long and nobody's applying. Process friendliness, all the process in recruitment. Remember, if we are not here, recruitment is not hiring, recruitment is selection, recruitment is not interview, recruitment is the process. It starts from the point where somebody decides to hire to the point where somebody signs the contract and starts the job. So all your processes from your job advertisement, remember that when you post, people are considering it, people are looking at it with what's my interest in this process. So your process has to be very friendly. Remember that people are going through all these emotions, optimism, love, joy. ecstasy, vigilance. There are a lot of emotions going on as people see a job post. Will I get it? This one is smart, I've passed this level. There are jobs that I've seen people post and is nothing related to what the job entails when they start the job. So I have ecstasy, I'm happy about this job. And then I go through the interview process and what they're asking me is different from what I thought the job is. You switch the person's emotion to either rage, anger. Some people come out from it and they're very angry. And the testimony against you becomes that company, they are not serious. So by the time we consider all these things to a good degree, we humanize the touch points in the community. So thank you so much. Thank you, Abiola. I have come.
Thank you very much, Chibuzo. That was really insightful. You've just given us a compressed masterclass on candidate journey and how we can use our candidate journey map to improve recruitment. No doubt, I know we have questions that we want to ask. So what's going to happen is if you have questions to ask, please put them in the chat box. So please let's all give an e-clap to Chibuzo for the fantastic presentation which she just dropped. A lot of, as you were talking, my mind was flashing back to previous experiences. And I know our minds, not just mine, minds of everyone here, flash back to different experiences, either from the giving end or the receiving end. That is either applying or either hiring. Different scenarios that has played out. But moving forward, we know what to watch out for and how to improve in our recruitment process. So let's continue to show love, the energy in the room with our claps. If you have questions, please let's just put it in the chat box and then we pick these questions one after the other. So we just want to listen to a presentation from our customer success. She'll be telling us about the app BizEdge, because this webinar is brought to you by BizEdge. So we'll be listening to a recorded video of more or less a demo of the app, what it does, and why you should come on board using the app. So after that, we'll come back to take our questions that we have prepared. So start dropping in your questions now, and then we'll take as much as we can.
Hi, my name is Chinaza, and today I'll be showing you a product demo on how to use the BizEdge app. The BizEdge app is a suite of apps that helps your business operations to be simple and easy. First of all, on getting to the app, after signing up, we have a pre-filled demo data to help you to experiment with the app. Once you're done with experimenting with the app, you can choose to clear the demo data by clicking on the Clear Demo Data button. Once you're done with that, you can decide to start adding the employees. On getting to the People app, you can choose to add employee if you want to add individual employees, or import employees if you have multiple employees you'd like to add at the same time. Once you're done with that, you can select the employee you just created to see the details of what you just added. Next up is our time off feature. Our time off feature enables you to add time off that you've created for your company. For example, sick leave, emergency leave, or annual leave. All you need to do is to click on the Create Time Off button, fill in the details you'd like to fill in, and then once you're done with that, click on the Time Off Policy button to view the time off that you created, and you can assign to the employees you'd like to assign it to. Next up is our benefit. The benefit feature, just like the time off feature, enables you to add benefits that you have in your company, like health benefits or pension and the rest. All you need to do is to fill in the benefit details here, and just like the time off part, you click on the benefits that you just created and assign to your employees. Next up is our training feature. If you have trainings in your company that you like your employees to be aware of, you can click on the Add Training button, and once you filled in the required details, you can assign the trainings you've added to your employees. Our next feature is our onboarding feature. Our onboarding feature is very good when you have new employees that you like to send specific details to, for example, who they should report to, or some documents that you like them to receive. you need to do is to fill in the details here. You can set tasks that you need them to do before resumption and click on the add document. Also, if you have documents you'd like to send to them, click on the proceed button. Next feature is the document. The document is where you can save documents, specific documents you like to save for yourself. Instead of putting them around, you can save them on the app. Settings is where you can put in your department, job title, location, which is specific for your time and attendance, and the My Edge employee self-service invite that you sent out to employees. Next up is our report. Our report is where you can see reports for your turnover report, employee count and gender profile, age profile, and salaries. Once you're done with this, you can click on the employee also to grant them self access to My Edge. Our My Edge platform is our employee self-service tool where your employees can see the time off you created for them, the benefit you assigned to them, where they can also clock in and clock out, and interesting things like who is out, birthday celebrations, and job anniversary. What you need to do is to toggle the employee self-service button here, and you can see that this is pending. So it shows that an invite has already been sent to the employee. Once you toggle the button here, the employees will get an invite to their email. That's the email you assigned to, that you filled in for them. And once they get that email, all they need to do is to follow the process to sign up. My Edge app is available on Google Play Store and the App Store. So all you need to do is just to download the mobile app. Next up, we'll be going to the payroll app. A payroll app helps you to run your payroll seamlessly. First of all, before you start to prepare payroll, what you need to do is to click on the settings, put in the required information here, and then put in your basic salary percentage, housing and transport, and you can save changes or add new items if you have. And you can see we have the payroll, pension, national housing fund, and tax calculation. This helps you to calculate your salary, your employee salaries, very easy, and you don't need to bother yourself about calculations. All you need to do is to toggle the buttons here for what you want to be calculated and then save changes. Once you save changes, you can now run the payroll. Next up, you need to just run your payroll for your employees by clicking on the prepare payroll button. Once you've clicked on the prepare payroll button, you can select the employee you'd like to run payroll for. You can add details you'd like to add and save changes. Then you can review, select all employees you want to run payroll for all employees, proceed to review allowance and earnings, and then can submit and run payroll. Once you've run payroll, you see it in the history. Now you can set up your payroll app. Next up is our time and attendance app. Our time and attendance app helps your employees to clock in and clock out successfully, and also for you to see the details of who clocked in, the arrival time, closing time, total hours worked, and status. Now, what you need to do is to click on the settings, add your new working days and hours, and then from the people app, like I said, the location app, you set up your location also and assign to the employees. Once you've done that, your employees can clock in from My Edge, our employee self-service app. Moving on, I'll be moving to our vehicles app. Our vehicles app helps you to record vehicles that you have in your organization or vehicles that you assign to employees. All you need to do is to click on the add vehicle button, fill in the required details here, and you can view the vehicles that you've created, and you can assign to employees. If you have vehicles that your employees manage, you can assign these vehicles to the employees. You can add maintenance or add new repair or add new documents, and you can set reminders for the vehicle. If you have reminders for repairs that you want to have for the vehicle, or you need to do is to set reminders for the vehicle. Next up is our assets app. Our asset app, just like our vehicle app, is a platform where you can record assets in your organization or assets that have been assigned to employees. So all you need to do is to click on the add asset button, fill in the required details here, You click on the asset list that you've created, and then you can assign the assets to the particular employee you'd like to assign the assets to. Now you can use the BizEdge app. It's simple, it's easy, and it's straightforward. Thank you and have a nice day.
All right, welcome back. Thank you very much, Naza, for that short presentation. You can say it's fantastic. It's easy to use. It's effortless. Just with the click of buttons, you're able to onboard, assign, decline, approve, time off, and a lot of things. Remember, I said it's a suite of apps. So it's not just stopping at the number of apps. You're seeing other apps will be added as upgrades and updates to this suite happens. So now we'll be taking questions, and I'll be looking at the chat box to look at the questions we have already here. Okay, so there is one here from Ayomikun James. Please, I want to ask, how can a passive job seeker manage their job search and their current work expectation, considering the workload out there? That's one question. Number two is sometimes the workload might be taxing that we don't have time to keep applying for jobs, but we want to leave the job. What would you advise we do? So let's take it one after the other. The first question, you got that, Chibuzo?
Yeah, I did. I can also see it in the chat box.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, James, for the question. So how can a passive job seeker, so for people that don't know what passive job seekers are, means that you are currently working, but you're looking to leave your job. You're looking for a job while you're in your job. So, so how can I manage my job search and current work expectation, considering the workload out there? So I say something very profound to people. It sounds funny, but it's the truth. Job search is a job on its own. It's a job. So the same way that you will put in time into your job is also the same way that you have to put in a degree of work to look for a job. However, we know that you work 9 to 5. So you have to map out a time. Okay, so today, the next 1 hour, I'm just going on LinkedIn. I'm going on, job post platforms to look for a job, So I guess that you identify what you're looking to move to. So you have to make out time for that. That's the first thing. The second thing is your network. So I keep saying to people that all the jobs I've gotten, I don't think I applied. I saw a job anywhere and applied. It's always, oh, I have this job opening. I think you can, apply for it. So you also have to talk to people and let them know that you're looking to leave. Because I can have a job and I know James, and I feel that James is very comfortable where he is. He doesn't want a job. But if you keep telling people, oh, I'm looking to leave at this time, at that time, people are more prone to, direct things to you when that is the time. Then the third thing I'll say, which is actually the most important, is you have to sell yourself. You have to keep selling. And how do you sell yourself? Becoming good at what you do. So that if there's any job that comes up in your industry or in your field, the first name that comes to mind is you. So actively doing things the right way and with quality is you consistently selling yourself. And that way you can, it can help you sell yourself. So I think I answered the two questions in one because of time.
Yes, exactly.
Because, yeah. The other question was how do I, since I don't have time and all that,
yes.
What do I advise you to do? So keep selling yourself, and people will start recommending you for jobs. People will start seeing what you're doing and, and talk. I think I remember how I met BizEdge. I went for a conference and I spoke. And I said some things about HR. Exactly. And there's like, HR would like you to come and talk. So you have to keep selling yourself. I hope that answers your question, James.
Thank you very much, Chibuzo. And more or less like I picked something from your reply. People help you even apply on your behalf. So you have time to focus on your present work because they know you need a job and probably even recruiters can come, poach you where you are already, on your LinkedIn and all. Thank you very much. Question from Fumbi. Can you please share tips for the negotiation-based contract terms as a job seeker? So you've been hired and you more or less, the hiring stage, that's where he's talking about. So how do you negotiate that part?
Okay, I would say what I said before again. Sometimes when you're a job seeker, you feel you are disadvantaged. Like these guys are looking for you are an asset. They're looking for you. For the fact that they give you an offer means that we want you on board. So and that's a good time to set your pay. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. You are somewhere and you're expecting something. I've seen it happen a lot of times. Some people will now say, I know what my budget is. So I try to tell you what a budget range is, and you come and say, okay, this is what I want and all that stuff. And you know the reason why you're asking for a certain amount of money. Maybe your standard of living, the things that you have to cover with the payment. So stand your ground. I'm telling people now as HR, maybe my HR people will not be happy with me, but we'll say the truth. Stand your ground. Sometimes the money is there. So know what you want to be paid before you go into any job, and don't be greedy. You are coming from 100K, you now want them to pay 1.5 million. That you don't have the quality and the work experience for. Don't be greedy. But then look at your lifestyle and know how much you believe you want or worth for that role. So you negotiate on it. Then other things, and I see people make this mistake a lot. Negotiation is not only around salaries. You can negotiate work-life balance. You can negotiate some other things. You can negotiate other benefits. You can negotiate trainings. Okay, so a company is saying, I have 1 million naira as my budget for your role. And you say, oh, I'm worth 1.5 million. But I would agree that you guys will send me to Lagos Business School for 4 months. And you already know how much that Lagos Business School costs for 4 months. So I can take a pay cut. I can take 700,000. But I want to go to Lagos Business School in 3 months. These other benefits, and the company might have the contacts in Lagos Business School to send you there. Now, if you had collected 1.5 million, you still go to Lagos Business School and pay school fees, right? But now you've negotiated that training and you've also gotten a good salary. So always have options of things that if the company cannot pay you monetarily, based on your demand, there are other benefits that you can get. So make sure you have those things before you go, and take time and look at your contract. That's the third point. They will give you a contract, and some people out of desperation, because I want job, maybe if I'm thinking 2 days now, they'll take out this job and give it to somebody. No, ask them, please, can I take 2 or 3 days? Look at the contract, give it to a top person to eyeball, a top party to eyeball, and then, look at it critically. 3 years down the line, if things change, or 2 months, 4 months, 5 months down the line, if something changes in this contract, will I be happy? Will it affect me in any way? And be open to talk about them. They give you a contract and say, oh, I need you to resume 16th of next month. And your notice period is 1 month. If you leave by that 16th, you're going to burn the bridge with your former boss. Don't just go and accept and say, oh, because this new job I've gotten it. No, you can negotiate and say, please, I know you want me to start 16, but I would want to do 26. I'm coming from a company and I wouldn't want to burn that bridge. Or I want 1 week after this job to proceed. Things like that. So you can negotiate those things. Take your time. That's the end point.
Thank you very much, Chibuzo. That was fantastic. I believe when we got this answer there. Another question here is, for HR working in a consulting firm, this is from Akinsola. For HR working in a consulting firm that recruits for several organizations with different peculiarities in their organization, how do you sell job efficiently to candidates knowing the client's workplace isn't structured? So I think this question is bordered on the 3 parts of the customer journey: awareness, consideration, and interest. How do you sell these 3 that someone decides to drop from awareness, consideration, and is interested in a job, knowing fully well that the person you are trying to recruit for doesn't have a structured work environment yet? How do you go about
Okay, so I always say this to recruiters. I know that we always want businesses, but recruitment is end to end. So you're working in a consulting firm. I happen to have a background in a recruitment firm, so I'm going to just give you this instance firsthand. So a client comes to you and says, "Oh, we want you to hire 4 staff for us, but we don't have structure. When they come, they're going to wear plenty hats. This one, that one," and that's a peculiar case for startups. When you come into a company, you don't just do one thing, right? So there has to be first a conversation with the client. You want these people to come on board. Are you open to changing certain things? So probably at this point, you don't have HMO, right? And these are some of the things that I can sell to this candidate to get them to work for you. So if you don't have HMO now, when can you do that? So get selling point items and get your client to agree to these things. Let them become part of your contract with the company, your client that you're recruiting for. So I'm selling to this candidate that in 3 months, you don't have HMO, but you start it in 3 months, right? And he agrees, you extend it to 4 months or 5 months because of the, how things work and all that. So when I'm selling to you, I'm like, you are in a startup, you're coming into a startup, this, you have to find out value propositions. There has to be something very different about this company. For every business, there's a value proposition. There's something that they're doing different from their competitors. Lash on that and sell it to these people. So I know that you're coming from here, and this is what this company is doing differently. In 3 months from now, I hired somebody recently, and the company he wanted 13th month. I went back to the company and they said, okay, we're going to do that in December. I said, give me your word and sign it. They signed it. I went back to this guy. I said, see, this company is going to give you 13th month by this time. And the guy signed the contract, and that's it. And as my client, I have to keep going back to remind, okay, this is what you said. So integrity. Not every client should actually be your client, because it will come back to fight you, right? So have this conversation. It's a two-way thing. Know what this company that you're recruiting for has as value that you can sell to the candidate. That way it can help you. I hope that answers your question, Deborah.
Thank you very much, Chibuzo, on that one too. That was excellent. We also have another question here. This is also about the negotiation, but this time around, coming from probably the employer angle. This is from Gwemisola. How do we manage job seekers who see a range of take, that's salary range, 350K to 450K, and of course they're looking at the 450K. So how do you mitigate that?
All right, so the first thing is, if you're giving me a range of 350 to 450, you can afford the 450. So why can't you pay me a 450? So, right, I know that I'm trying to debate some of the things that we know. So if a company says my budget is 350 to 450, they can afford 450. So the question should be, does the candidate worth the 450,000? If the candidate has the experience and worth it, please pay the candidate 450,000. If the candidate doesn't worth it, when you're negotiating and it comes and says 450, I'm like, I have other candidates that have 2 years more experience than you do, and these are what they can do more. But however, because the company is looking at cutting costs, or that we can't afford this at this time, and your experience is less than this is why we are paying you this. So if that's the case, then if the person doesn't have the experience, because sometimes we put range too based on experience. So I know that I'm posting a marketing manager job and a lot of people can apply. So I say, okay, if you have 2 years of experience, I can give you a 350. If you have 3 years of experience, I can give you a 400. And if you have 4 years of experience, I will give you 450. So when a candidate comes and he has 2 years of experience and asking for 450, I'm like, no, my range is broken down into years of experience. And this is where you're falling, and this is what I can afford to pay you. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Chibuzo. Any more questions, we can still put them in the chat box. We have a few minutes before we wrap up. I have a question from my own end here. Now, okay. We talk about identifying needs of the candidates. When it comes to them applying, that's dropping from the interest part, that's the interest, the part of the customer journey, dropping from interest now into application. how can the needs of a candidate be identified? So how does an HR person kind of wear the shoe or the hat of the candidate and try to identify their needs? Candidates you haven't met. So what can help?
Right. So you can only to a good degree control the things that you know. So if you've probably identified that before now, you were dehumanizing the process and you've corrected that, and candidates are still dropping out, right? There are a lot of reasons why candidates drop out. It could be salary, it could be your environment, it could be research. So the first thing that I advise a company is work on your branding, right? Because sometimes if I check out the company and I don't see anything about them, it's okay that some companies don't want to be out there. I will go and check who works in that company, right? I see the things that they say. Sometimes I'll just send them LinkedIn posts and all that and all that. But then also have a system that, so for example, if you're using LinkedIn jobs to send out advertisements for jobs, you see candidates that applied for your job, right? And then sometimes you now reach out to them and say, oh, I saw that you applied and I would like a 20-30 minutes call with you to discuss further. And they never reply, right? You could, for cases like this where you have the data, you could ask. Sometimes people just randomly apply for jobs. They're not looking for job. They just know that it's easy apply because that's LinkedIn has an easy apply. Once you click apply, it just sends them your profile. Some people are in that. Some people even apply and forgot that they applied for any job, right? But if you have access to the data, you can run a survey. Oh, hi, you applied for a job, but you didn't continue the process. Was there anything particular that, that happened? If you have their email, you can do that. If it was on LinkedIn, you can do that. So you find a way to ask. Another way you can ask, which looks subjective, is when you eventually hire someone into that role, find out what interest this person had that made him continue with the process, right? So you can now know, oh, how can I infuse it going forward into all my recruitment processes, if that helps? Or even within your team, you have 15 people in your team. What interest, what brought you into the company? That way you can advise your recruitment process.
Thank you very much, Chibuzo. I really got points from the answer you gave. Thank you so much. We have one question from Ayomiku James. The question is, when selling ourselves as a job seeker, what would you consider the important point to buttress on? More or less like strength, or will I say, what's the cool stuff?
Okay, so before you even apply for a job, I would advise anybody, become self-aware. Know what your strengths are and know what your weaknesses are, right? Because if I'm sitting in an interview, what I want is value. I want to know if you can do the job, right? So it's your strength that give you the capacity to do the job. So if you know the things that are your strength, try to, so let me say I'm a talker, I'm a salesperson, but I'm applying for a tech role that doesn't even require me to talk. But this is my strength, right? And I'm being asked a question in the interview and say, okay, so you're coming to tech, how can you bring value? But trace your strength. Oh, I'm a good communicator, I talk, this is what I do best. So what that means is that if there's a problem within my team, I would have the ability to get information and communicate it amongst my team members and help everyone achieve a certain goal. That way, you've used your strength to fix it around the role or the responsibility you're supposed to carry out. So self-awareness, find out what your strengths are. Even your weaknesses can help you nail a job. So I'm not good with talking with people, but in your company, I've seen that a lot of people talk here. And I understand that if I join this system, my weakness will be improved by 20%. This person knows. These are things that you should sell when you are going through a recruitment process.
Thank you very much, Chibuzo. I would love to take more questions at this point because we have some questions that have been reserved. Questions like, how do you save hiring costs while hiring? Because that's one very important, or will I say big deal for HR professionals. Because to hire is money too, it's also cost. So
yeah,
we'd love to take that to board because of our time we are fast spent. So Chibuzo, how can our audience reach you? So are you social? Do you have a handle? So
Okay,
if you want to talk to you can put that in the chat.
So I would, I'll just share my LinkedIn. I'll just share my LinkedIn handle in the chat box. Just give me a second. Drop that and share it with everyone here. But my name is Ihentuge-Eric Chibuzo. My name is so long. So some people, and there's no R in my Chibuzo, please. If you're looking for me anywhere in social media, please, there's no R in Chibuzo. My name is just Chibuzo without an R. I keep saying that, I cannot overemphasize that. Okay, so I have my link now. I'll just drop it in. So you can find me on LinkedIn, anywhere, Chibuzo Ihentuge-Eric. And I have a website called Bubu's Blog. So you can also ask me questions there.
Okay, fantastic, that's great.
So www.bubusblog.com. So yes.
Okay, so that's
also,
thank you very much. Please do reach out to Chibuzo and float her with questions if possible, and she will do her best to respond.
Just say you're from BizEdge and I'll respond to you fastly.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much. So we're also social too. You can reach out to us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, just Bizedgeapp. That's our handle on these social media platforms. And you can check out the website and sign up for free if you are a business owner or you're HR professional and you're looking for a business tool that would make management of your team easier and effortless. Just come on the side of BizEdge. So sign up and use the app for free and experience better management of your team. So this is how we wrap up the edition for this month. Thank you so much, Chibuzo, for speaking today to us, to all of us. We really appreciate you. Till we come your way next month, we want you to continue to put your best foot forward and never stop trying. Don't give up. This may be a motivational speaker now. So let's all take care of ourselves. Health is wealth. And see you guys next month. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you,